When Raiam was working for ESPN, he got a lot of hate mail. He got a lot of people trolling him, which is ironic because now he's the king of the trolls. I felt that what he said at ESPN was not really that offensive, and had someone who was maybe white or maybe famous said that, he wouldn't have been fired. The truth is that Raiam got fired for something really stupid. I think he said that when Cariocas go away for the weekend, they go to Ipanema Beach. When Paulistas go away, they go to the Chiete, right, the river. Which is not even a funny joke, but it's not something you should be fired for. And I feel like had he been white, he wouldn't have been fired for that. But I also feel like the best thing that could have happened to him was for him to be fired.
Here we go again.
Trapping out the bando.
Good morning, guys. My name's Shayne. Born in the UK, currently living in the States. I've known Raiam for maybe 12 years. I've known him since he was a virgin, so that goes back, not too far, but enough. I used to work on Wall Street. I got really bored, so I quit, traveled around the world. I went to Asia for a year, moved to Rio for 2 years. I went to see the World Cup. I was in the World Cup final. I was also in Brazil for when Brazil lost against Germany, which was a strange time. So I feel like I understand Brazil fairly well, and the kind of the atmosphere there. Right now, I'm kind of doing several different projects. So I'm working with musicians. I produced a lot of albums, won a few Grammys. I'm a voter for the Latin Grammys as well. I also consult for a few companies. And I also look after the interests of a few family offices. So I have like a kind of a mixed background. Also made a film last year, which was bought by HBO, a documentary. So I do lots of different things. But I have quite a relaxed lifestyle, not as intense as Raiam's, but I kind of enjoy that. I like kind of going slowly and just enjoying myself. I think part of life is not so much about work, but it's more process. It's, for me, not so much the destination, but the journey that's interesting. And I think I've had an interesting journey, and leaving finance was one of the best decisions I could make. When Raiam and I first met, he was my intern. I was introduced to him by his mentor, Nick Lobocaro, and I had this kind of bright-faced 22-year-old, he's like 21, 22, really innocent and full of energy, good energy. He interned with me for a little bit, and then we played soccer together. I would bring him to the JP Morgan soccer games. We play against my colleagues, against hedge fund managers, and he was amazing because he's Brazilian. He was just the best by far. Plus, we're a bunch of old guys as well, so but it was always good to have him on my team. And then he ended up staying in New York, and I would take him out, and I'd try to mentor him because he's kind of like a younger brother to me. And New York is really difficult. You're 20 years old, 21 years old, and you're in New York. It's really, really difficult to get around. He was working for an investment bank, and I just wanted to make sure that he didn't make mistakes. I think I was good in kind of teaching him, don't do this, do that. And he's a really good learner and a really good listener. So yeah, I was kind of his mentor for quite a while. Then I moved to Brazil, and what people don't understand about Raiam is he comes across as a complete asshole, right? And he's a troll, but he's actually a really kind-hearted, good guy. And he's been through a lot. I mean, I remember him after he got laid off or fired by ESPN. I took him in. I said, just come stay with us, and he would sleep in our house sometimes, and we would just talk. And I said, it's not really your fault. I just think that you're too smart and probably too outspoken for people who are jealous of you. And I said, you look at all these people who work at ESPN, they're all fat, they never played NFL in their lives, never played football, and you're the only guy that actually has any knowledge, and you're the only guy that actually could play football. So I just wanted to kind of help him because he was really low. It was a moment in his life where He had depression, he wasn't going out much, he definitely couldn't get laid, and that probably hasn't changed much. And I wanted just to help him with his own confidence. And I told him, you know, it's a great Paulo Coelho quote that I'm going to probably butcher, which is, the darkest night is always before the brightest day. And I think that he understood that eventually, and he saw that, but sometimes you have to live through that dark night to understand that really is the case. So I'm really proud of him, he's done really well. But I think these things are really good for people like Raiam, they're good for people like me. It's important to feel the sting of pain and unfairness because it's hormesis, it builds character, it builds resistance, and you get stronger from these things. And so in many ways, one of the best things that ever happened to Raiam was to get fired from ESPN. So again, like, you know, he's come from a place that is a place of pain. You know, he had a lot of anxiety when he was living in Brazil in around 2014. He lacked direction. You know, it was really difficult for him, and I always wanted to be there for him because I knew that things would get better. And I think, you know, when I was his age, I went through a similar funk as well, but I never had someone telling me things would be better. And I wanted to make sure that I could be that person for him. And he's doing great now. I'm really proud of him. I've told him to tone down the bullshit, you know, to be more true to himself. And I think he's now starting to do that. Moving to America, you know, it's definitely different for him. And he realizes that you can't really be a troll here and succeed. It's great to have reconnected with him because we lost a bit of touch over the last few years, especially when he was becoming this famous persona. I would go on YouTube and I'd see his face and I'd see him smacking his dick against the window in Russia at his apartment, and I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? This guy's a complete idiot. So it's nice to reconnect, and I'm proud to say that he is no longer slapping his dick against windows anymore, which I think is progress, I'd say. I was asked about what I do for a living, and I forget sometimes because I do lots of different things, and I don't have a proper, I guess what you call it, a job. I used to work on Wall Street for many years, and I left and took a lot of time off to travel around the world. Became a professional backpacker through Asia, and also lived in Brazil for a few years. But in terms of what I do on a day-to-day basis, that really depends. So I own a consulting business. I also own some real estate, and we buy and we redevelop buildings. I also have a business where I sell air rights, and air rights is something you only really get in a few cities in America, whereby you can sell the air above your building to a neighbor who wants to build a skyscraper, and that's actually a really profitable business. So only in America can you sell air and make money. I also work in music as well, so I produce several Grammy award-winning albums. I also been involved in a bit of film. A documentary that I produced last year was bought by HBO. So I do lots of different things. I am what you would call, I guess, like a master of none. I know lots of stuff. I'm not necessarily an expert in many things apart from finance, sadly. But finance is a good skill to have, I guess, in America. And I recommend everybody study it, but it's also the least cool skill.